Hey everybody. All right, so we're back for Love and Marriage Huntsville, season 5, episode 8. We want to mark the boundaries. This is such a mess. Okay, so this episode, whatever. I feel like this whole season has been a bunch of nothing. I don't even know why they bothered to number it something different. All right, so we start off with Kimmy and Maurice. Um, Kimmy's talking about the first closing of the house. She said when Maurice went back to law school, she wanted to head the title company, and apparently she's doing that to help people purchase property, especially African Americans. And they were talking about diversity in property. And so Maurice brings up, he was like, well, speaking of meetings, let's talk about the last meeting. And Kimmy goes, no, I don't want to talk about the last meeting. The last meeting makes problems. The hometown meeting, like their business meeting, makes money. I'm here for it, Kimmy. That's why I fucks with you. All right. So they end up talking about the situation with their brother Mark because Kimmy is pointing out to him. Maurice said, "Well, about the issue with y'all want Tisha to control Wanda, but y'all need to control Mark too because he done caused a lot of problems as well." And Maurice said, "Well, Mark did not insert himself into the situation. Um, he was inserted." And Kimmy says, I agree. As far as I'm concerned, as a viewer, Mark put himself in this as far as I'm concerned because we didn't know him before that. I don't follow none of these people on social media except for Mel. And I'm just like, I wouldn't know anything about him. What the fuck is going on social media when it comes to Love and Marriage Huntsville? I don't be checking for it like that. So she challenges him basically back and forth. You can't tell Tisha to control Wanda, and then you're not saying nothing to Mark, who always seems to have Van's name, Mel's mother, in his mouth, and I just find that inappropriate. Anyway, so Mel and Kiki meet up. Mel, it's looking real messy on your part. They meet up, and Mel is working on her skincare products, and she's catching up with Kiki, and she tells us that her and Kiki have been friends and they actually talk a lot. Okay, we know at least on this show, Mel does not have a good track record of keeping friends. And in terms of keeping friends, Mel is clearly playing this game, knowing that Kiki and Tisha have this tension, but then again, Kiki's playing the game as well. Now, it's still kind of news to us, or at least me as a viewer, of how close her and Mel are, because that was not the way it was depicted before. All right, so she tells Kiki about this tired ass fight. I'm so tired of hearing about it. They built up like 3 episodes of this bullshit. We see a glimpse of it, and then we just keep hearing about what may have happened, how people felt. It's the same shit. Um, so she tells Kiki about the dinner and how they've set boundaries, and Kiki says, "Well, I am in a difficult position because at the end of the day, Wanda is still my aunt," which I understand. Wanda is also toxic. So she says her and Tisha got into it because Marceau tried to blackmail her at this like family event. I didn't know what they were referring to. I feel like Kiki was trying to imply maybe he had cheated. He was trying to imply he had some information on her. So honestly, Kiki did the smartest thing you could do, and that is just kind of to own your shit out loud because you're already not necessarily huge in the public eye, but there's enough attention on you to where people can dig stuff up and try to use it against you. So I appreciate her taking this moment on TV just to say what it was and to own it. And she talks about how she had surgery and she got addicted to pain pills after surgery. That story, unfortunately, is not unique. It happens a lot. The opioid crisis, we know because it disproportionately affected white people, is somehow a big deal now in America. Never mind the war on drugs. That was different. But a crisis is somehow, sympathetic. But nevertheless, I do have sympathy for Kiki or whatever. And she said she started taking people's pills and other people realized it. And there was tension between Kiki, Tisha, and Marceau because Tisha and Marceau knew what had happened. And she was like, I was only like a short time at a rehab. And when we were going, I think they were going to like a Christmas party or gathering that Mel and Martell were hosting. And they made a joke about it and was like, you need to lock up your pills, this, that, and the other. Now, do we know the extent of how the joke came? No. Do people in families say things like that? Yes. Do people in families who have couth say that to people who are not family, no. And it is something that they wanted to blackmail her with, and you could tell it by the kind of energy Marceau had. And you know what, Kiki, I could tell you were hurt by even bringing that up, and I know it's hurtful to be betrayed by people who are supposed to be close to you and your family. What you went through, you did what you were supposed to do. Yeah, you got addicted. Yeah, you made some mistakes. You went to rehab. You took back control, and now you want to help women who's going through the same thing. Kudos to you. You ain't got nothing to be ashamed of, and I'm glad you own that narrative. They can't hold it over your head no more. And don't let them people do it. All right. Mel talks about how one of the biggest betrayals, she said when Martell was my family. I can't. Martell ain't your husband, but girl, as long as y'all got 4 kids on this earth, y'all gonna be family, whether you like it or not. Okay, anyway. So I'm glad she told her side of the story. Kiki, you don't have to keep secrets. Secrets will make you sick. So Maurice and Marceau meet Mark in the park. Oh my gosh, all these M names, all these fucking M names. Now, my question was, why are they meeting in the park? Not a restaurant, not at Black, not at anybody's office, a park. It's like Mark, one of those people you just don't want in your home around your children. Does he cause attention? I mean, if Wanda can come over, I'm like, why are these brothers meeting him in the park? Wasn't nobody in no workout gear. It wasn't like they was going for a run. I mean, maybe Marceau was, I don't really remember. But Maurice definitely had on a suit, and Mark doesn't look like he do much running. No tea, no shade. You know, and I'm a thick girl myself. But anyway. But I'm also not on TV. So, all these M names be killing me. So, they say, look, Mark is the oldest brother. And like the other Scotts, he's very stubborn. But he's stubborn more than like Marceau and Maurice. That to me is already frightening. So, they said they don't want to make it worse by talking to him. And Marceau basically says in confessional, but we will. And they say, you know, they tell him like, you know, you popped off at the mouth. You know, the stuff you put on social media about Van. And he said, well, I was talking to Kiowa on an IG video and someone recorded it. Pause. That's where I was like, that flag on the motherfucking play. Kiowa, I will never forget that season when she was on here and the way she was attacking Kimmy while Kimmy took her child in, clearly embraced him, and she started feeding her son bullshit. For somebody who's remarried, I would have so many fucking questions for her current husband as to why she is still so obsessed with, one, being involved in Scott family business that does not deal with her son. And 2, she is always seems to be having these conversations with Tisha, with other people. Now, granted, I know they're related, but the bitterness that oozes from Kiowa's skin from the time we've seen her, I don't trust her, and I don't trust this conversation she had with Mark, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was something they was planning anyway. All right. Now, granted, Martell fucked this shit up too. Martell is the other missing piece. He didn't have to bring that up on a reunion. He didn't have to try to call Mel's mother out as if somehow her being a grown woman, even if they were in a relationship, she don't have to claim any kind of relationship if she wasn't in one. Period. Hard stop. Okay. She doesn't have to do that. And Mark, you really looking real bitch made by crying about the fact that she denied him. Y'all weren't married? Like, Negro, what? Anyway, so Mark still is talking about how Van lied. And if they were just friends, then he's guilty of being a hell of a friend. Bruh, how old are you? And right now you are really seeming like, it seems to me like you was really in love with Van. You wanted her more than she wanted you. And the more you talk about it, the worse it looks. Sometimes being a man is being able to say, you know what? My bad. I'm sorry. I was out of line. But see, now you looking desperate. Now you looking like you in love with somebody who don't love you back. Okay? He says a friend doesn't buy a friend a plane ticket for a birthday. Okay. Fair enough. I wouldn't do that either. But you didn't say that y'all went somewhere together. Like, you didn't say you and Van bought plane tickets to go on vacation. And didn't she work for him? How we know this isn't just her booking his ticket as part of the job? Baby, let me tell you something. People get slick with words when it comes to relationships. I ain't trying to hear all that fuck shit. And then he goes on, he just keeps talking and running his mouth. So, he says, look, don't try to hide behind a church face. Just say what it was. And I'm like, what the fuck? At that point, I was just like, look, why the fuck is this a storyline? And Mark is not part of the cast. Mark, I don't know what you said on social media any more than what Maurice and Marceau and the other cast members have reported. Why would I be interested in you? You're not part of the cast. You're complaining, you're whining, and it's coming off real bitch made for the second time in this review. Okay? I don't like it. It's so easy to undermine women and degrade them by suggesting that they were carrying on a sexual relationship, even if she was. It's her fucking business. Mark, you're not part of the show. Mark, she's not checking for you. Get the fuck over it. So Marceau and Maurice were like, yeah, but you went from defensive to offensive. My thing is, then be a man. Then check Martell for bringing that shit up. Ben was there to support her daughter. Not you. You a grown man. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't want to see you on my screen no more. Next, Destiny and Tisha meet up. This was a whack scene too. Because I'm tired of hearing about that stuff that went down at Madani. Now, I will say, if any meeting needed to be had, it was certainly one with Destiny where people needed to apologize for their behavior at her event for her business. I don't care what nobody think about Destiny. I ain't even here to defend Destiny as a human. I ain't here to defend none of these people on their fuck shit. But Destiny didn't deserve that. That was inappropriate. They were uninvited. Period. But I don't want to talk about this no more. So she reached out. Tisha reached out to Destiny to see how she felt about the incident at Madani. Oh, because we haven't heard enough about that. Golly. So Destiny's talking, just about her life. And she's saying she's seeing a man named Moses. It took me a second. I was like, is that a pet? Is that somebody we're supposed to know? Is that she playing around like with her father's first name? Some people call a parent by their first name, but like as a joke. Because it sounds like an older name. I mean, I know it's a biblical name, but you get my point. So he's talking about, she was saying how Moses complains that she doesn't cook. He doesn't know if she even knows how to cook. Because she doesn't cook when she comes into his house. First of all, Moses, I don't know you and I'm not interested in getting to know you. But Ninja, you need to learn how to cook. Hashtag next, hashtag done. All right? So Tisha said, well, last time I saw you, you were on 10. No shit, Tisha. Honestly, I don't think Destiny was on 10. I think she was honestly at like an 8.5. Considering what was being done at her business, at her relaunching and reopening. Okay? Why would you bring that up, Tisha? Tisha, your first order of business should have been to clearly apologize for your behavior and your mother's. And I know people say, oh, you can't apologize. I don't give a damn. Try. Because y'all fucked that girl's event up. And I hope you paid for y'all's lunch. All right. So, they're talking about how the police were sent out. Anyway, so Tisha goes, well, one good thing came out of it. And Destiny said, yeah, everybody knows where Madani is. And Tisha says, no, you got a bag. And she goes, even though it may have been like a flex, okay, then it's not a good thing, Tisha. You messy. You messy and you're not. Girl, bye. So Destiny does admit that, she's like, hey, Stormy did come correct. We had to sit down. And Tisha was like, oh, see how Bessie. She was like, pump your brakes. So Destiny said, Mel could have reached out to Wanda. That she didn't have to do that at her business. And she's absolutely right. Huntsville is a hop, skip, and a jump long. Yes, the fuck you could have. You shouldn't have showed up at that girl stuff. And I can understand why Destiny's pissed. When Mel said, I'm not going to give you a moment, Destiny. And she said, take some of that air out your head. And honestly, Mel, for you to show up to her event and then say you're not going to give her a moment. Then again, Mel is the star of the show. I go back and forth between who's the star of the show, Mel or Marceau. But anyway. She said Martell called and apologized the next day. Well, you and Martell are also on pretty good terms, right? You and Mel haven't been, but Mel did owe you an apology, shit, even if it was text and disingenuous. All right, so Tisha's still there making excuses for her mother. Tisha has decided to bring up the issues with her mother to her mother at her daughter's birthday party. And she said because apparently Wanda will be on her best behavior. Okay. Tisha, you make poor judgment calls. You and Marcel both, but this is on you. So, Mila's birthday, that's their daughter's another M name. I don't know why they keep doing this. Baby girl's turning 7, and that's wonderful. You know, I wouldn't talk about anybody's kids. They left the cake in the car in the summer in Alabama. And Marcel says, lesson learned. I'm glad you learned that. Moving on. Wanda shows up late to her granddaughter's birthday party. Wanda manages to make the singing of happy birthday about her. As she complains, I can't believe y'all did that without me. And I'm like, first of all, that outfit was a little too young for her age. Neon green earrings and that neon green top. No, ma'am. I'm not saying it's not cute. I'm saying it's too young for you. And I need you to grow up and mature. I know you're not going to do it, but I'm just putting that out there. So Marcel says, well, they decided they're going to talk to Wanda while the kids are eating the cake. Did you notice how many people had their faces blotted out? Wanda, Marcel, and Tisha, people are embarrassed to be around you, and they're just trying not to be mean to your kids. That's all I'm saying. Get yourself together. All right? So more so, they basically go back and forth on how there are boundaries. You shouldn't have said this. And she was like, well, since we talking about baby daddies, she was talking about your father, this, that, and the other. Okay. Did Mel say that? Yes. Wanda, girl, your daughter is grown. So acting like you defending your baby daddy the way Mel is defending herself and her ex-husband in a public divorce, but defending the paternity of her child is not the same fucking thing. That wasn't even about you. Tisha is grown. You madder than Tisha is. You not with this man. This man, y'all had a child damn near 40 years ago. Don't do it. Don't do it. That wasn't that deep. That was not that deep. And somebody having to protect their small children is not the same thing. I'm not going to even play that game. Oh, well, she's a mother too. Yeah, she is, but her child's grown. It's not the same impact. And you and Tisha's father, whatever the case was, we don't know much about it. You want to know why? Because it wasn't a public divorce. And that shit with Mel and Martell is bad. You didn't have to add no gasoline on that fire. So they explain to Wanda they've set boundaries with comments on social media. Marceau says, look, all I'm asking, and he says this several times, all I'm asking is that when Wanda goes on social media and does live, Wanda should talk about Wanda. He said, and you need to talk about saving your food truck from death. And she was like, no, I am going to save it. And for some reason, that was hilarious. I was like, Marceau just read the entire fuck out of you. If you was going to be mad at Marceau about something, you should have been mad about that. But that shit was funny. So he's just saying, like, you know, when we stop talking about Martell's baby mom, what happened? They had to find another way to get attention. That's true. They didn't name her. They didn't, no coleslaw, no side peas, no nothing. See, and that takes the power away from her. And he's right. And that's true in a lot of situations. So she says, well, I curse you out all the time, Marceau. Pause. Another pause. And I'm not going to even say ma'am, because I'm not going to give her that kind of respect, because she doesn't deserve it. First of all, the fact that you're cussing out your son-in-law on a regular basis is a problem. Tisha should have checked you for that. 3, that is a very poor example in front of your grandkids, even if you fucking hate him. That man, if he is not putting his hands on your daughter, if, you know, I mean, like, we can say Marceau is sexist. Marceau says he's sexist. But that level of disrespect, and we've never seen Marceau curse you out or try to fight you, because I think Marceau is far more bark than bite. But he was like, well, you know, we still have love. She said, I don't have no love for you. Tisha didn't say anything. And I know Tisha's quiet, but I'm just like, Tisha, your mama's out of order. Your mama's out of order. And I'm sick of you making fucking excuses for her. So she asked, well, what do y'all want? Y'all telling me all this? What do y'all want? Tisha says, look, the kids are off limits. She said, and Wanda's in the confession. When you talk about mine, I'm gonna talk about yours. Your grown ass kids are not the fucking same. And that dig Mel through was a dig. But it was also a response, apparently, to other things Wanda had been saying all along. So, whatever. So, Tisha says, well, I think we got through to her. I'm like, Tisha, are you delusional? And then, of course, Marceau has to say, no, I think we got her to agree to actually say she was going to stop. He said, you don't ask, you have to tell a toddler, it's a good thing when they take baby steps. She was like, why are you comparing my mother to a toddler? He was like, it's an analogy. I was like, there's a whole lot of things you could have compared your mama to. But you know what, Tisha, you ain't gonna get it. You can't. I can't. Y'all, that was Love and Marriage Huntsville this week. I don't want to hear nothing else about this damn fight. Stormy, by the way, you trying to get the girls together. You ain't one of the girls. Never mind. Why am I? I'm so glad Tiffany and Lewis weren't on here. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.